All right, all right, all right. It is time for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Next Generation, which is the final one in the original four. I'm not going to say continuity because there's not really any continuity to these movies. But this movie, I believe, came out in '96 or '97. I believe it takes. I know it takes place. The events of the movie, in this version anyway, start out in '96. So, like I said, this version, there actually is another version of this movie. I don't have that one. This is just the DVD copy I've had forever. This is the one that I bought, years and years and years ago. But this one right here is probably regarded as the worst one in the original four, or in the whole series for that matter, but I disagree with that. This one actually, to me, is one of the better ones, and not because, not for quality reasons, but just because I have so much fun watching this damn movie. That alone, to me, and it's very nostalgic. Again, I grew up watching these movies. This one, I watched a lot just because it's ridiculous and it's crazy and wild and out there, and just, I personally think, even at this point, like I've said, I think I said it in the last video, it's not even about Leatherface anymore. They went from the, basically where they started shifting the focus to Leatherface to now shifting it completely away from him, and it's basically all on Matthew Mcconaughey now. So that's another funny thing about this movie too. That's friggin' Matthew McConaughey, and that's Renee Zellweger. I mean, they're both in this damn movie. I believe this was before she was in Jerry Maguire, if I'm not mistaken, and it was before they were both really just famous. And this movie was shot and put on a shelf, basically, and they were going to wait. Whenever it was finally going to be put out, they were going to wait until one of their movies was going to come out, so they could basically cash in on the success of the other, of that other film. And they're like, no, you can't do that. So whatever. But anyway, it ended up finally getting released, and this is what we have. But it's been cut down. This is, like I said, probably the cut version. There is an uncut version. I don't have it. But this one is, it's very different. So this one, basically, it's about, I believe there's four of them, four teens that are at prom. And they leave prom because one of the girls, her boyfriend is just being a piece of shit, and they end up getting in a big fight. And they get into a car, and the girl just takes off, and she drives down this backcountry road. And then Renee Zellweger's character and her friend or boyfriend or whatever he is, they're both hiding in the back seat. And they just kind of get sucked into this. They end up getting into a car accident. They go off walking, trying to find help, and then end up running into the family. So that's kind of how that goes down. But it's a lot sillier and a lot more ridiculous than how I've just described it. It's very wild. Again, Matthew McConaughey is like just freaking killing it in this movie. Honestly, you could have taken Leatherface completely out of this, and this still would have been a really fun movie. But having said that, Leatherface is the reason we're all here. Leatherface in this movie, I don't hate him, but he's very, very, he's a lot. He's a little too much. He's basically like the Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 cranked up to 11. He's just wild. He screams a lot. He runs around a lot. And actually, at the same time, he's kind of a little pansy, at the end of the movie, in a way. Just because, at the end, you're not even really scared. Like, even Renee Zellweger's not really afraid of him. Like, there's one point where she yells at him and tells him to sit the fuck down, And, Matthew McConaughey is way more intimidating than Leatherface is in this movie, completely. And I'm not saying that he's a pansy because he's dressed like a woman, not Leatherface. That's actually, that's Leatherface's thing, That's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because by the end of the movie, if you're not afraid if your main character is not afraid of the big bad dude with the chainsaw in the movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? And it's just so funny that it's honestly, I can forgive it just because it cracks me the hell up. She's just like, you set the fuck down, and he's like, ah. And to me, whenever Leatherface is in his womanly garb, he looks like Paul Stanley from Kiss really bad, just without makeup. That's what I think anyway. I know that's probably dumb, but that's just what I think. But anyway, like I said, this movie right here, it was trying to, I believe Kim Hinkle had something to do with this. Did he direct it? Yes, this was written and directed by Kim Hinkle. But it's definitely, this goes to show you that just because you have one of the original members of the movie back does not mean that it's going to make it automatically a great movie. That's been shown time and time again, but this is a perfect example of that. And again, it's just not really... I think it's shot just fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just, it's written very poorly, and it's acted fairly poorly as well. Except for, and again, Matthew McConaughey is just over the top. Like, he almost reminds me of Nicolas Cage in this movie. You probably could have swapped the two of them and still had just about the same. That would have been actually really funny. Imagine Matthew McConaughey doing, Vilmer is his name in this movie and just going crazy, and Nicolas Cage playing Leatherface going freaking ape shit. That would have been great. No, here we go. We just get, Matthew McConaughey being amazing and Renee Zellweger just kind of being a piece of wood. Yeah, she's not a great actor in this movie by any means. She's very kind of, oh, yeah, I don't know. Like, she's very timid. Until the end, I mean, there actually is surprisingly some character growth with her character, Jenny, I think is her name, by the end, because again, she's just telling Leatherface to sit the fuck down and shut the hell up and do all this, all this other stuff, which I just think is hilarious. And that's great. So there is just a tad bit of character growth in there, for her character, which I think is great. But again, and even though I'm talking all this mad trash about this movie and saying that it's not good and all this other stuff, I do still really enjoy it. It's really fun to watch. I highly recommend checking it out. Not even just as a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, but if you just want to watch a ridiculous, silly, over-the-top movie, with some very famous actors now, before they were very, very famous, definitely check this one out, because it's ridiculous. It's so crazy. I can't, overstate that enough. It is a very crazy, wild, kind of trippy kind of movie. I can't even really, you just got to see it. Like I said, whenever I was younger, what's really funny is it's one of the copies of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the first ones I bought. Like, I've always had 2 and 3, but whenever I had the opportunity to get them myself, I was like, I've got to find this one, and I did. It was at Hastings for a long time, and I remember I finally picked it up. I've never seen there's another cover of this. Maybe I think it's on the uncut version where it's Leatherface in. It's basically Leatherface's face, and there's like a lipstick with a chainsaw in it. That was always on the VHS cover when I would see it at like Blockbuster whenever I was younger. I never rented it, back then for some reason. I didn't see it until I finally got it on a DVD. But I always saw that cover, but I actually like this cover more. Most people like the other one. I don't know why I like this one. I think it's just because I like green, mainly because it has that kind of green tint to it, and I don't know. It just, I like this cover better than the other cover. And I like the title, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation, better than The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I thought that was silly. The other thing I don't like about this copy is it's one of those stupid double-sided copy, DVDs. So I don't like that, but I mean, what are you going to do? It is what it is. It plays just fine, and mine's a little worn out because I've had this, like I said, for so long. I bought this one day at Hastings, and Jason Takes Manhattan and A New Beginning. Don't ask me why I bought them in that order, but that's the order I got them in. I bought all 3 of those movies at Hastings one day. If anybody remembers Hastings, I loved it. But anyway, so that's my review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. I love this movie. I watch it, several times throughout the year. Having said that, it is not a great movie production, from a production standpoint or an acting standpoint. But if you just want to watch something ridiculous, crazy, nonsensical, definitely check this one out. If you've never seen a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, you could even start with this one if you wanted to, and it wouldn't even hurt anything. It doesn't ruin continuity. Completely different family again, from the original, even from the last movie. So Leatherface again is the only recurring character, and he's a completely different Leatherface as well. So, but anyway, definitely check this one out, and that wraps up the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first 4. So, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna do the remakes or the Legacy prequel or sequel. I may save those for another time. I've voiced how much I hate Leatherface, which is the, I guess you would say, legacy prequel, you know, but I really don't like, I hate that movie. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll save those for next year. But I don't know. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Goodbye.